This is Eric with a real life moment. In Matthew 11:28, Jesus said, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. All of you, take my yoke and learn from me, because I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your soul. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." In these verses, Jesus is giving a call to repentance, faith, and salvation to whosoever will and that have ears to hear. Weary means labor, and it carries the idea of laboring to the point of exhaustion. This exhaustive labor is a product from the personal efforts of the person who is laboring. Burdened or heavy laden means to place a load on someone. The law placed a heavy load on the people. But Jesus lifted that load with his call of grace. And that grace call was and still is, "Come to me. I will give you rest," or refreshment. Jesus is saying you will be refreshed by me. These two verses are soteriological in nature, or in other words, verses that speak of salvation. But I believe there's a general principle that we can glean from those two that will help and comfort us in our Christian walk. Let me illustrate. The other day, my wife Fern shared with me an awesome quote. It came from a preacher who confessed that he was pressuring and pushing himself as he was dealing with his daily challenges. And he said at one point, he sensed the Lord saying to him, "When you are working, I am resting. When you are resting, I am working." Is that not spot on, slam dunk, the bullseye truth? When we are working, God is resting. When we are resting, God is working. Right now, are you working? Are you laboring with something in your body, mind, or spirit? Is it burdening you down so strongly that it's affecting you negatively and the load just keeps getting heavier? Are we trying to make things happen by pushing, pulling, tugging, groaning, or straining? Jesus calls. Can you hear him? He says, "Come to me." An unknown author wrote, "We mutter and sputter, we fume and we spurt. We mumble and grumble, our feelings get hurt. We can't understand things, our vision grows dim, when all that we need is communion with him." In the book of Ruth, Ruth travels back with her mother-in-law Naomi to live in the land of Israel. Ruth finds out that a man by the name of Boaz is the close relative to Naomi. As the story unfolds, Boaz seeks to gain Ruth as his wife. Naomi says to Ruth in chapter 3, verse 18, "Sit still, my daughter, until you know how the matter will turn out. For Boaz will not rest until he has concluded the matter this day." Boaz is a picture of Jesus, our kinsman redeemer. When we sit still and rest, as Naomi counseled Ruth to do, God will work for us as we are resting in his ability, not ours. Ruth was to rest as Boaz was working toward the wonderful conclusion of their marriage to each other. Let me quote that again. When we are working, God is resting. When we are resting, God is working. In Psalm 66:3 it says, "Say to God, how awe-inspiring are your works. Your enemies will cringe before you because of your great strength." Psalm 77:14, "You are the God who works wonders. You revealed your strength among the peoples." Then Ecclesiastes 3:14, "I know that all God does will last forever. There is no adding to it or taking from it. God works so that people will be in awe of him." Horatio Bonar was a Scottish pastor in the 1800s that wrote over 600 hymns. One of them was titled, "I Heard the Voice of Jesus Say." The first stanza says this, "I heard the voice of Jesus say, 'Come unto me and rest. Lay down, O weary one, lay down your head upon my breast. I came to Jesus as I was, so weary, worn, and sad. I found in him a resting place, and he has made me glad.'" What's the reminder to all of us again as we close? When we are working, God is resting. When we are resting, God is working. Until next time, this is Real Life, and I'm Eric Godfrey. Get to resting. Shalom.